Folks need to know that it's out there. I don't want there to be a hysteria about it because there will continue to be new substances, right? What it's about is knowledge.
Advocates and law enforcement cautioning Utahns about a growing threat showing up in drugs that are being sold on the streets.
It's a sedative that could make it difficult to ever come back from an overdose. Jim Spiewak and the Addicted Utah team looked into this. So Jim, what's this one called?
So Heidi, this drug is called xylazine, and it's actually a tranquilizer for animals. But law enforcement is telling us that it's already starting to trickle here into Utah after having a strong presence and showing up a lot out on the East Coast.
Somebody would offer me something and I would take it, and then I'd decide later, ooh, I like that. What was that?
Jenn Harris is in recovery, but when she was in active drug addiction, she says she didn't always know what she was putting in her body.
There was benzos in my heroin one time, and I ended up overdosing on it because I didn't realize that there was.
She says it's not uncommon for drugs to be mixed with other things, but the latest substance showing up in drugs has people paying attention. It's called xylazine.
And it's essentially a horse tranquilizer. So it's a veterinary medicine that is very sedating.
Dr. Jennifer Plum is a medical doctor who runs Utah Naloxone. She says if someone takes xylazine mixed with an opioid and they overdose, naloxone can get them breathing again, but has no effect on the tranquilizer.
And so there are people who are absolutely blacked out. Think about the risk to somebody like that. They're not waking up for anything.
This phenomena is slowly burgeoning from the east to the west.
Brian Besser, a special agent with the DEA, says that xylazine has been a problem in the northeastern U.S. and is making its way to Utah.
We're talking handfuls of cases that we've detected.
In 2022, the DEA Salt Lake District Office had 5 seizures of drugs containing xylazine. The DEA says that it sees it most often in fentanyl, which Besser says is a tactic for drug makers to keep their product appealing in a market already oversaturated with fentanyl.
The drug trafficking networks go out of their way to sexy it up a little bit. They have to constantly change the Baskin-Robbins assortment of flavors, right?
Xylazine is not considered a controlled substance, so it does not fall under the jurisdiction of the DEA, and the state crime lab does not specifically test for it.
And there is no question that it is an increasing threat.
But in a U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing in February, the DEA administrator testified they were trying to change that.
We asked HHS about 15 months ago to begin the process of scheduling xylazine.
In the meantime, Besser cautions the public to not buy drugs on the street.
Be alert, be on the watch, be mindful that these drugs are being adulterated with a lot of different types of drugs.
And we have a tourniquet.
Jenn Harris now works in harm reduction at Odyssey House, connecting with people who are using these drugs.
I just think every life matters. It's somebody's son or daughter.
She hopes more testing and tools will become available to let them know what they're taking.
I just want to educate and give people an opportunity to make a different choice, or at least to be safer.
Now, the FDA announced just this week that it's taking action to restrict the unlawful entry of xylazine into the country because of this issue. Closer to home, the state medical examiner's office is only confirming that xylazine was responsible for 2 deaths over the last 10 years. Reporting for Addicted Utah, Jim Spiewak, KUTV 2 News.
Jim, thank you. If you'd like more on this issue and resources, visit the Addicted Utah page. We've got a lot of information there, KUTV.com.